All right. Welcome, everyone, to the May 20th edition of the Fireside pre-show for the Signals from Mars live stream. Murphy's Law, my friends. Everything that I was trying to do to get this going, just couldn't. Was looking for, since it was 30th anniversary of Kiss's Revenge, was looking for my Japanese edition vinyl. Couldn't find it for the life of me. So if there's ever a moment to say, you know what, maybe I should alphabetize my albums, now might be a good thing. Or now might be a good time because, I just could not find it. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great evening, afternoon, depending on where you are. As the In Excess album was titled, welcome from wherever you are. So wherever you are, we welcome you to the show here. I see that we have Jeremy and Johan and Brad joining us. Let's go over some of the new releases real quick and take it from there. So the album that I wrote about was the Anvil album, something that Jeremy had talked about a few weeks back. His underlying message was fun, and it's definitely a fun listen. I mean, they're not breaking any new ground. If you're a fan of Anvil, I mean, it's a continuation of everything that they've done before. It sounds cool. It's everything that you would imagine that an Anvil album would be in 2022. And, a few albums back, called Anvil is Anvil. Truer words have never been spoken. So, not sure if what's going on here. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm seeing that online. Everything seems frozen. Okay, so Jeremy's applauding. All right. I wish this would be a little less clanky and easier to work with. Okay. Well, looks like I'm getting all these messages about all this stuff coming through now. Yeah, I don't get this. All right, well, whatever happens, happens. Let's just keep powering on through here. So anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that came out today. New Evergrey, James LaBrie from Dream Theater has a new album. Cave In, probably the most prominent post-rock, post-metal band ever. Sadist, Septic Flesh, Ratas de Prau, Brazilian crossover band. Leviathan Project, which features Ripper Owens. Chuck Wright's Sheltering Sky. Chuck Wright, best known for his work in Quiet Riot. And let's see, Zinni Zan from Shock and Messiah fame. Malevolence, Dune, Thy Kingdom Will Burn, A Sound of Thunder, Corleone, Volturion, Black Void, or Oratory, Serpentent, Unbowed, Watashi Wa, Bogbody, Rottenness, Mortal Thrall, Luminous Vault, Geezer, Hellscott, Last Temptation. EPs or some 7-inch singles released by Arch Enemy, Halloween. And it looks like I got the Oratory twice. Today's daily double, folks. Let's see, Predatory Light, and 2 reissues by Wolftooth, who we've had on the show in the past. So it looks like here's another thing that wasn't working right, is that the camera was not holding steady. So let's see if we don't have any accidents with the camera tonight. So anyway, in celebration of the Kiss episode tonight, I do have the very first bass that I ever purchased, a 96 Ibanez Iceman, which is right over there. Trying to remember. I guess the third or fourth instrument that I ever purchased. But anyway, yeah, it's been with me throughout the years. Let's bring Jeremy up. Let's talk about some new releases here. Let's hope that there's no echo. If not, we'll be playing the muting game again. So,
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. How are you?
Yeah,
How are you, Jeremy?
I'm really good. There's no echo, is there? Is it okay?
Oh, there's plenty of echo.
Oh dear. Do you know what?
We'll have to ride the mute button. That's all right.
Okay, so later on I'll go on my phone. At the moment I can't do anything about it because obviously it's using a certain thing. But anyway, we'll push through it. Nothing I could do. I rebooted the iPad. Everything, tried to sort it out that way, and I have no idea what's going on. Right. Oh well.
We'll just do what we can do. No problem.
Yeah, I was going to tell you all about the gig that I saw last week and talking about Europe, Foreigner, Whitesnake. Thought it might be quite interesting just to have a chat about David Coverdale and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But I mean, if you want to talk about new releases first, I haven't actually listened to a lot that's come out today, but obviously I have listened to that Anvil album. And I agree with you. You know, it's a good, fun album. This is what you get from Anvil. I mean, they don't break ground. You know what you're going to get, so that's good. And you know, they're real fun. And I'm hoping to get to see them in October. They're coming to Chester, which is a city, but it's a small city very close to me. It's where I was born. So it's going to be interesting to see them in a small place over here, and I'm sure they'll put on a good night. But you know, the riffs are there. You know, the ridiculous lyrics on some of the songs. But I just thought, you know, when you listen to it all the way through, you've had a good fun time, and that's what rock and roll's all about.
I agree with you. Like I said, what I posted. Let me mute you here for a second. It's your typical Anvil, your typical heavy metal themes, your typical silliness from the band, some double entendres, a song called Teabag, for example, and you have. You know, it's heavy metal, heavy metal themes, some sex thrown in there, and some weed thrown in there as well. So if you're new to Anvil, is this gonna, you know, turn you on to the band, or are you listening to this album because you want to hear something new by them? No, you want to hear this because you want to add more to your list, more to make the menu bigger, per se. Unlike people that are looking to, oh, I want this. Is this album going to replace metal on metal? No, but there's interesting things to listen to on here that you can add to that Anvil playlist. So that's my opinion anyway. Jeremy, okay. So let's see. Let's give us the rundown on the show. So as long as I don't talk or anyone else talks, then there isn't any echo. So let me unmute you again and let us know about the show.
Yeah. So can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it was really great. First of all, Europe came on. They did 9 songs. I stood in front of John Levin, the bass player, and he looked a little bit uninterested, a little bit tired early on in the set. But I'm not sure whether that's just him anyway. I think he was concentrating on what he was playing. And eventually he looked as if he was really enjoying it. They rattled through all their hits, and they finished off with a song. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's called The Final Countdown.
Oh, wow.
So that was Europe. Perfectly good opener. Obviously they headline as well. Then Foreigner came on. They played 10 songs. Again, every song was a hit. Most of them, if not all of them, were singles. The interesting thing there is that Mick Jones now is 77 years old. He only came on for the encore now. Where I saw him about four or 5 years ago. He came on after about 4 or 5, maybe 6 songs into the main set as a headliner. This obviously was a shorter set, but he only came on for the encore. He had to be almost guided on and helped out a little bit. He's very old now. I was surprised how much older he'd got in just 3 or 4 years, but at that age, I suppose it does kick in. He managed to just about play along, but he looked a little bit out of it. A bit sad to see, but it's nice that he turned up. He had a nice shirt on. They finished off with Hot Blooded, and then we were straight into Whitesnake's set after about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They did 13 songs. Again, it was more of the sort of more recent stuff. Having said that, they played Here I Go Again. They played Fool for Your Loving. They played Crying in the Rain. The usual stuff that you expect to see. And they ended up with doing a Burn by the Deep Purple song, which was actually really, really good cover. Really good. I mean, it was Coverdale singing it, so that was quite nice to see him doing it. The big question I know you're going to ask me is, did David sing all the way through? How much did he get helped out by the keyboard player? It's Dino Jelisak, isn't it? Jelisak.
Yeah.
The answer to that question is that the guy stayed behind his keyboard all the time. He was very much a backing guy. So he didn't come out, he didn't sing out front. It was very much a Coverdale fronted band. I mean, most of the people around me didn't know who this other guy was. David Coverdale is what they came to see. Now, I did notice that they turned down the mic on some of the songs partway through, but they turned it up as well for David when he wanted to sing. And he did sing. He sang large parts of songs, but he didn't reach the levels that, he could do in the past. And obviously, he's 70 years old. What do you expect? You're not going to go there and expect to see David Coverdale, 28, 30 years old, blasting out these songs, maybe even 40 years old. The guy is 70 years old. He's still a great front man. He still stood up through the whole thing. He moved about. He interacted with the crowd. But a lot of the backing or the high pitched stuff was done by Dino on backing vocals. It worked very, very well. Some people will come out of there complaining that David Coverdale is not singing enough of the stuff, or he's not reaching the notes. It's the end of Whitesnake. This is the final tour. Just enjoy it. If you ask me, is David planning to take this band out without him? I'd say it's 100% no. It's still very much his band. It's the end for Whitesnake. And this other guy was, in the background. You wouldn't have known he was there, really. You just brought him out for a couple of minutes.
So we end that with Jeremy has put down the gavel. He has said that Whitesnake will not continue without David Coverdale.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it will never happen in the UK. I'll put it a little bit. I'll maybe just sort of question it like that. He's never going to do it in the UK without himself, because there won't be enough fans who'll go and watch it.
Okay, but what about in the States, for example?
That's a possibility, only in a slightly different way. I don't know. I don't know whether he'll feel that the Whitesnake brand won't be as legitimate without him. whether he's watering down the brand a little bit. I don't know. I just don't know whether David Coverdale needs the money. He doesn't seem as if he's going to need it much more. So who knows? We will see. Given the space of time, we'll see. Don't know, but I'll say the other thing is Joel Hoekstra played very well, but without really having very long solos, because obviously there were three bands on, so they kept the solos to a bit of a minimum. But you have to really clap Tommy Aldridge, because this guy he's coming up for 72 years old in later this year, and he looks like a man of 25, banging away at the drums. He didn't tire one bit. He did his solo with his hands, as he normally does. It wasn't quite as long, but again, because they didn't have as much time, he was absolutely superb. I mean, one of the greatest drummers that I've seen certainly of that age, and even so, regardless of age, brilliant.
Cool. So there you guys go. The Whitesnake rundown that we had been hoping for. We thank Jeremy for that, and also I want to bring Johan up to the stage, because Johan was not at a concert, but he was at the inauguration of something that was very important up in Sweden. So for those that don't know, Johan is from the area around where Cliff Burton passed away. Johan, how are you today?
I'm very good, sir. Thank you very much.
That is great to hear.
How are you doing, Victor?
I am doing excellent as well. Anytime I get to talk to all you guys, regardless what the mood is for the day, I always get cheered up talking to you guys. So I'm interested. I saw videos and just different things with regard to the Cliff Burton Museum, and
Yes.
You were there. So what was it like for you?
I drove out to the museum. It's about 8 kilometers from my house, and when I came, it was I guess, no, I'm not guessing. I know it was around 1,000 people there, and I was surprised that it was so much people. A lot of people from Mexico, from Colombia, from Germany, UK, and all over Sweden. And me and my friend, we looked at the museum. Great, a lot of clips. What do you say, from the newspapers on the walls?
Mm-hmm. Reporters, you're saying?
From that, yeah. Like from the news that day that it happened. A lot of ticket stubs, and of course a lot of vinyls and stuff. And the main thing in the middle of the museum, it was Lars Ulrich's drum kit from that tour, set up in the middle, and that was, for a nerd like us, that was nice to see and touch.
Right.
To see that drum kit, yeah. And then we went out from the museum, and the band started playing Orion, a cover band from Sweden, and they did good. The bass player was he played with his fingers on a Rickenbacker, and he was good. And that set Swedish people are reserved, but when there are people from Mexico and Colombia, things happen in the audience. It's good. It's a good thing. And people were drinking beer, and I saw perhaps some smoke going up from the crowd. I don't know. I don't know about it, but perhaps. The mood was good. And then we had, after the song Orion, there was some speeches from the initiators of the project and the people around that. And that was a quite long ceremony, but it was good, emotional. And after that, a British journalist and writer called Joel McIver spoke about, he was there and he spoke about Cliff, and then the screen opened up, and Frankie Bello talked about last night before Cliff died live. So that was nice to have Frankie Bello there. And I guess after that it was a little bit. Then the band continued into our city to play that night, and the whole party moved to the city, and I went home. But because I'm 49, I don't go to bars and party in my hometown because I'm a politician. But
right,
So to round things up about the Cliff Burton Museum, it was a really good day. And I was surprised that there were so much people there from all around the world. The mood and the atmosphere was very special. People care about Cliff Burton. They love Cliff Burton. Those who were there, they were, they are really, really good fans, big fans of him. So it was a special afternoon last Saturday, I must say. So, if you ever have your ways around here, visit. It's a good thing for us nerds and rock fans.
Do you know how they got Lars's drum set? Did they have to pay for it? Did Lars donate it? Did they talk about that?
I think it's that's why there were so many Mexicans there. There was this Mexican collector. Who was there? And I forgot to say, in the middle of the thing inside the museum, they played on the drums, and an artist from, I don't know, Mexico or South America. I somewhere around there. He interrupted his tour, and he flew to Sweden, and he played Anesthesia Pulling Teeth just to be a part of this. And the day after, he flew back to his tour in, I don't know where, Mexico, South America, and he was a friend of the band. So I will have to get back in you on that, but who he was, I didn't recognize him. If he was a metal celebrity, I would have known him, but probably a metal celebrity, but in the South American or Mexico community.
It wasn't. It wasn't Juanes by any chance, was it?
Who?
Juanes, Juanes.
Perhaps.
Let's see. Cliff Burton Museum.
Google that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
He was a nice guy. He spoke to everybody, and he was a big celebrity. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that combination isn't coming up. I'll do some more research later. Let's see if we
but I Google him. I will look into it during the night, and I will send it to Messenger.
Cool. No, I bring that name up because he covered one of the Metallica songs on the recent covers album. So that's why I mentioned him, and he's huge all over South America and Spain and everything. And I've heard this with a lot of different artists. Metallica's his favorite band. He wanted to have a metal band, but when he started writing music and he started singing, couldn't sing like James Hetfield. So, I mean, on his last tour before the pandemic, they'd started covering Search and Destroy live. And this is a pop band. This guy's known for his ballads and his pop music and stuff like that. And then they started playing Metallica during their set list. So,
all right. No, this was a metal dude. Absolutely,
okay.
A metal. Yeah. In his,
all right.
I guess our age, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, but a good day and a good museum. I'm really proud that we have it here in our community. Really. Yeah.
Awesome. Brad, you've been here from almost the start. What's the good word in Utah? Any stories about saving anyone today, or are you focusing on hard rock and metal saving you today?
That's exactly what I'm doing. Today is a day off, even though I'm covering call for one of my coworkers till 4 p.m., which is in another 23 minutes. Yeah, I'm all about sleeping in, and it's freaking freezing here, man. It was snowing here this morning. I didn't see it because I was asleep. But Shelly said it was a whiteout. So now it's like low 40s outside. Although we're heating the pool. The pool is now open. It's up to it dropped down to 75 because of the cold weather, but still that's warm enough if you want to jump in. So yeah, I'm all about talking about KISS today with all our buddies.
Yeah, Jeremy's been prepping all week. He's been listening to the entire catalog. So I did my fair share of listening to KISS today. I mean, I know all of my answers beforehand. And I hope that we'll have a good turnout and that tonight will be a good-spirited discussion. Obviously, a band that means a lot of different things for different people. And, hey, there were some people that said, I really don't have much to add, so I'm not sure I'm going to pop in. And, I mean, I posted in the Patreon. I said, if you want to pop in, please do so. Add whatever you want to add to the show, and if not, hey, there will be other bands to discuss. So
yeah, that's probably going to be the case for me at some point, where you're talking about a band that I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm here for everything. I'm here mostly for you guys. I love listening to Johan talking about talking about what's going on there in Sweden. And I mean, the Cliff Burton thing, that is so cool. And I mean, let's face it, I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but I have huge respect for what they've done. And I have huge respect for Cliff Burton. I'm glad I got to see him play with the band, at least once. And I don't know. I love anybody who's passionate about music. I love that. And I love the fact that at 49, Johan's kind of packing it in. Like, yeah, I'm not going to go out partying. Like, for heck's sake, Johan, I'm 61 years old, and for at least another month here, and I'll party with you. I don't drink,
but you're not a public official like Johan is. He also has to, show a certain image off to people in public. He can't go crazy because he wants to.
Not like here in America, where our elected officials can act like total complete clowns.
Yeah, I'm going to do that on Sweden Rock, but not in
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, but Johan, Sweden Rock, there's enough people that even if someone recognizes Johan can say, "No, that wasn't me. That was another guy that looked just like me."
I would have so much more respect for anybody of our elected officials if I saw them in a concert and they were rocking out. I would be like, dude, like the governor of Utah. I just found out he's a bass player, I don't know what kind of bass player he is. I'm trying to get through his office to do an interview with him, just where we talk about music and not politics. Because I want to know what he's about. I mean, holy crap, he's a bass player. He's got to be a good dude. Because I mean, there's probably, I'm going to say, statistic wise, less than 5% of bass players are assholes.
All the rest are 5%. But
yeah, all the rest are. But those guys were actually guitar players that couldn't really play guitar well, and so they became bass players, and they're not really good bass players either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about your math there, Jeremy, who is a guitarist. Jeremy, do you concur with what Brad has to say? Is it the asshole as bass player ratio? Is it less than 5%? Well, what's your opinion?
I would never criticize bass players while Brad's around. So I would not go there. All bass players are bass players, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anything about their mental health. I'm being very diplomatic.
Yes, you are, sir.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I see we still got the no.
Yes.
Guitar players love echo. They love delay.
There you go. Maybe that's what Jeremy hasn't realized, that he's got the delay pedal at all times. He's almost like Michael Schenker, who used to play with the wah-wah turned on, but with with the pedal all the way down. Yeah,
that's actually a key factor to its tone, is having that wah-wah set like that. And Michael Schenker, we could do. Well, we're gonna have to do a discussion about Michael Schenker someday. Not his mental health, but his guitar playing.
Well, we have talked a little bit about Schenker with the whole the show that Jeremy saw, and he said was the worst show that he had seen. I got to see Schenker for a little, and Chris Slade made it an unenjoyable event for me. But let's be honest, though, huge influence on so many people, and when he's been on, with Scorpions, with UFO, and with MSG, I mean, he's been hard to beat. Unfortunately, similar to the 5% rule that you just said, it seems as if that's 5% of his catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now let me ask you this, Brad.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Schenker live?
Michael, yeah. I saw him. Let's see. First time I saw him was with UFO. It was on the. Why do I have such trouble thinking of album names when we're talking? It's the one before Obsession, the one with the Too Hot to Handle and all that. Lights Out. Is it light? Isn't the album? Yeah, Lights Out. Okay, so I saw him on the Lights Out tour. The UFO was warming up for Rush on the Farewell to Kings tour. It was at the Santa Monica Civic. We had great seats, and I got to be honest. I mean, Michael Schenker was great, but the band overall was not that great. They made a lot of mistakes. I was kind of a little bit like, oh, geez, I expected more out of these guys. I've since, of course, found out that there was a lot of drinking and other things going on with those guys, and that might have played into it. Rush on the other side of the coin, they were. I mean, if there was a mistake, I'm sure they knew it, but nobody else knew it. This is when they started adding all the keyboard. Well, there was no keyboards; it was all played by pedals at that point. Mm-hmm. There was no keyboards on stage, but they were adding all that kind of stuff into the music, and they played a lot of songs off of Farewell to Kings.
Right.
And it was just a magnificent concert. But Schenker was unbelievable. I did see him on the next tour. They were warming up for Blue Oyster Cult. Saw them at the LA Forum, and they were actually much better on that show. And I just and then I saw Michael Schenker on his very first solo tour after he put out his first solo album, Armed and Ready, right?
Just MSG.
No, it was just Michael Schenker, just MSG. Okay, because he's done a couple of those.
Armed and Ready is on the second album, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's the very first song off the first album. Armed and Ready. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know the song.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, no, that's the very first. Unless the album was different in Europe, but it's the U.S. version. That was the first song on there, and it was "Cry for the Nations." And I mean, I listened to that album so many times. But anyway, I saw him on that tour.
Cry for the Nations, Victim of Delusion. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So he just put the band together. And I got to be honest, there is that the band wasn't super tight. Cozy Powell was a drummer, and I mean, I love Cozy Powell. And he, you're used to hearing all the songs with Simon Phillips playing, and Cozy did them justice, but it wasn't quite the same. I kind of feel like they were still getting their groove as a band, whereas the next time I saw them around, they were better.
Yeah, the Live at Budokan, Cozy nails most of Simon Phillips playing.
Yes.
I mean, it's obviously Cozy has a slightly different feel, but it's more true to the original. Whereas, like when I saw Chris Slade playing Cozy's parts, was garbage. So my next question is this: have you ever seen Michael with Shelley?
Yes. In fact, doggone it, she just walked over to Grandma's. I'd have her tell the story. That was a Macaulay Schenker group, and that was on their first tour as the Macaulay Schenker group. And
so here's my question.
Go ahead.
Here's my question. Who did she appreciate more, Michael Schenker or Yngwie Malmsteen?
Oh, Guy, I wish she was here to answer that question. Because I'm sure she would tell you an earful. And I'm sorry, Johan, but Shelley's not a big fan of Yngwie after seeing him live last week. It was one of the most preposterous, I think that's probably the best word to describe it, just totally Spinal Tap-ish thing I've ever seen live. And I've seen Yngwie before. It was beyond ridiculous. I'll send you a picture of what the stage looked like, where it was more Marshall amps, and they were real cabinets, real amps, and there was no bass amp. Everybody else in the band was pushed to the side and not allowed to move, and they all looked like they were wearing what they slept in, except for Yngwie, full on rock star. We're kind of anyway. We talked about this last week. I want to talk about Michael Schenker again. I saw him on the last tour, and I think it was Jeremy that saw him when he was doing the Michael Schenker Fest. Okay, where he had the four singers. Mm-hmm. I thought that was one of the best concerts I've ever seen, just because it wasn't all about Michael Schenker, which I thought was interesting. He stood off to the side. I mean, he certainly would say hi. He would talk a little bit between songs. But during the songs, it was all about the singers. They would bring them out. The other singers would sing background. So it wasn't just one singer at a time like it is in the DVD that they did in Japan, where they would just have one guy come out and then the other guys. But these other guys would come out and they would do backup, and they were kind of screwing around, having fun with each other. And it was a 3-hour concert, and it didn't get boring at all. Huh. And it was really cool to hear the original singer that sang the song on those albums sing those songs. And they kind of, they didn't just do it in blocks. They would have them kind of come in and out, in and out, in and out. So it was always mixing. It was always mixing it up. And even though Gary Barden, who I thought he was one of the most awkward lead singers I've ever seen when I first saw him. He had a weird kind of way of talking to the audience that was just very odd. And he just didn't look good on stage. He didn't really sing well live either. But now that his voice is totally gone, at least the higher range, and I was okay with him just singing stuff low. And he seems very relaxed and natural now. And I really enjoyed, even though he can't sing like he did on the album, I enjoyed listening and watching him with the Michael Schenker Fest thing. So I thought he was just really, really good. So, and I enjoyed all those singers, even Graham Bonnet. I mean, Graham Bonnet is, sometimes he's singing so hard that it's tough to listen to. But he was really good in that set. And Doogie White, my goodness, he was good as well. So, and of course, Robin McCauley I think Robin McCauley's gotten better with age. I think his voice sounds better now than it did 30 years ago. The tone quality is much more enjoyable. And he is just a delightful person. So, but Michael Schenker played fantastic during that 3-hour set, just played fantastic. It wasn't all about him. He played the leads like they were on the albums. He played the, guitar. He's not afraid to play rhythm guitar. He's not one of these guys that just, I'm only going to play solo kind of stuff. Michael Schenker, I love him. I think he's nuts, but I love him. So there you go.
Well, on that note, we need to wrap this show up because we have the full-blown KISS discussion coming up at the top of the hour, Signals from Mars. You could follow that discussion and chime in from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, a bunch of different places. If there's any doubt where you can hop in and talk to us about KISS while we're talking about KISS, just go to MarsAttacksRadio.com, go to subscription across the top, and just pick the platform of your choosing. Just hop on in and let us know. Jump in the conversation while we're talking KISS. So on that note, I do want to thank Jeremy, Johan, and Brad, and I will be seeing the three of them and hopefully anyone else who's watching in a few minutes on the Signals from Mars live stream where the patrons and myself talk KISS. So we will see you guys in a few minutes. If not, we'll see you on Tuesday for Trivia Tuesday or right back here on the Fireside pre-show. Thanks for watching.